Please welcome our next speaker, VG, the CEO and co-founder at Maxim AI. Maxim AI is an enterprise-grade generative AI evaluation and observability platform, empowering modern AI teams to deliver applications with quality, reliability, and speed. In this session, VG will touch on agent quality assurance from testing to trust. Let's welcome VG.
Hi everyone, I'm VG, co-founder of Maxim AI, a simulation and evaluation platform for AI agents. Excited to be here and talking to you all today. Let's dive in. Today we are going to be talking about a very important topic, agent quality assurance. AI in e-commerce has evolved beyond simple chatbots. We are entering into this world of autonomous agents that handle tasks like personalized shopping, customer issue resolution, and even supply chain decisions. And unlike traditional systems that follow fixed rules, AI agents don't. They reason, take actions, and generate responses dynamically. And the biggest risk is that we don't always know how they'll behave in real world scenarios. So the goal of today's session is how do we test these AI agents to ensure that they are reliable and safe in production? Quick recap, I'm one of the founders of Maxim. At Maxim, we are building a simulation and evaluation platform for AI agents to help modern AI teams ship these agents with confidence and much faster. Before Maxim, I was building products on the Google Assistant NLP and developer platform teams, and a large part of my work has been focused on AI quality. Why does quality matter though? It matters because bad AI costs businesses real money, reputational damage, and most importantly, user trust. So as we go down this path of AI quality, here's what we'll cover today. We'll talk about the rise of AI agents and how they're changing the e-commerce landscape. Then we'll talk about why quality matters. We'll move on to understanding why measuring quality is hard and why traditional approaches don't work. Then we'll look at some practical approaches to build high quality agents. We'll then see it in action with a live demo of an e-commerce customer support agent, and then we'll close it out with some final thoughts. So let's get going. AI agents are transforming e-commerce far beyond customer support. We are already seeing agents handling product recommendations and shopping experiences to much more complex e-commerce workflows. The impact? 69% of retailers using AI agents have seen significant revenue growth. Per Salesforce 2024 report, there has been 72% reduction in operating costs where AI is deployed in customer interactions. From incumbents like Amazon to new age companies like Perplexity, teams are going all in to reimagine the e-commerce customer experience with AI. The shift is happening now, but AI only drives value if it works reliably. Quality is your ultimate moat. With intelligence becoming accessible to all via APIs, the only way to differentiate is by focusing deeply on quality and building agents that customers can trust to make good decisions. What happens if AI agents fail? They erode user trust and cause tremendous financial and reputational damage. We've seen that time and again, from Air Canada's line chatbot to McDonald's buggy drive-through ordering systems. On the flip side, great agents drive higher customer trust and tremendous growth. However, measuring the quality of these AI agents is indeed hard. Unlike traditional software, AI agents are one, non-deterministic. What that means is that the same input may produce different outputs. Two, the multi-turn nature of these interactions makes testing unimaginably harder when there are at any point multiple trajectories your agent can take. And three, the complexity of real-world decisions is indeed very hard to measure. The factors that we need to test are, in most cases, very nuanced, and they could be multiple. You might want to evaluate empathy of your AI agents, but at the same time, you want to ensure that they are not biased. This means that we need new ways to evaluate them. Traditional software QA doesn't cut it anymore. Building reliable agents requires a phased approach that focuses on quality. This process includes ongoing experimentation, to identify the right models and configurations, followed by pre-release simulation and testing to ensure that these agents are performing reliably on real-world scenarios, on metrics you care for, before you put it out in production. But it doesn't stop there. Continuous evaluation in production is essential to adapt and improve performance as the agent evolves, as the use cases evolve, and as we continue to get more and more user feedback. That's where Maxim comes in. Maxim is an end-to-end AI quality platform. I'll run you through a practical example of an e-commerce customer support agent and show how simulations play a major role in building trustworthy AI. Let's go. What you see on the screen right now is a customer service agent for a shopping website. This is a demo agent. It can answer questions about product recommendations to return, refunds, exchanges, or any other support related queries. Now, as a builder of this agent, I want to ensure that my customers are having the best possible experience. To do that, I need to be able to effectively test its quality pre-release and monitor it post-release as my users are interacting with it. So let's head over to Maxim and see how the Maxim platform enables us to do that. This is the Maxim platform once you log in. It's an end-to-end platform focused on AI quality, right from prompt experimentation to running simulations and evals on your end-to-end workflows to observing real-time quality. All of that is taken care for you on Maxim. The quickest way to get started with testing your agents on Maxim is via workflow. So let's head over to workflows. What we're going to do here is that the customer support agent that we were just looking at, we have used the API endpoint of that application and put it here. If I send a request to this endpoint, let's just send a hey, I will receive response, like I will hit this endpoint with this request and receive a response. So this is just me manually sending a request and getting a response, but I can use a simulator. What that means is I can simulate a back and forth conversation with this customer support agent based on a set of context I give it, right from scenario to persona and other things. And now when I have started this simulation, you can see there is this back and forth happening between the target agent, which is the customer support agent, and my simulation agent, which is Maxim Simulator. So this query was about product warranty, and I have received the response from this customer support agent. Now, of course, what you're seeing in Playground is still testing it one by one using simulation. But the real value of this is when I can specify the set of scenarios and user personas that I care for and have the simulation agent simulate a variety of conversations on those scenarios. And then I choose a set of metrics to evaluate those conversations. So let's take a look at how that works and let's head over to data sets. Now, this is a data set with a set of simulation scenarios. I'm choosing a smaller one for the purpose of this demo, and it has scenarios around refund, purchase, or some general support. Now, this column on expected steps that you see here, that's an optional column. There is a metric for step completion that needs this column, but if you're not using this metric, all you need to specify is agent scenario and user persona, and you're good to go. So let's head back to workflows and see how all of this comes back together. So this is the workflow we were using. I'll head over to test and I'll choose a simulated session. I'll provide this specific split of my data set here. And let's make this a bit specific. I'll say, hey, you are a frequent buyer called Cody Armstrong as a user persona. And this could be very generic, like a frustrated user or someone trying to break into the system. I'll specify context and choose my metrics. Now, one thing to note here is that there are a set of metrics available on Evaluator Store. You can just enable those metrics and start using in your workflows. But at the same time, you can specify any sort of custom metric. In this case, I'm going to choose a set of metrics and just trigger a test run. Here, as the simulation gets complete, you'll see that there is a set of summary that you see at the top for this entire experiment or simulation run. And if we click a specific entry, we can look at the entire conversation that happened with Maxim Simulation Agent. We can also look at different evaluation results for this conversation, and we can see that step completion did not pass because return policy step did not happen, but everything else passed for this situation. But if we look at some other situation where everything failed, this scenario, we will see that the target agent encountered some error. So let's head over to the evaluation metrics for this and see what's going on. And here we see that except for toxicity, everything else failed. And it looks like the customer, there was some issue with failing to place the purchase order. A good way to look at what happened is then go and look at the trace for this entire session. So we are heading over to logs for this session that happened, and let's see what went wrong. Let's go into the trace and look at the place order tool call. And as we can see here, we didn't receive any output from this tool call. So let's quickly go and look at our code. And maybe there was some issue with this code. In this case, we will just fix that tool call code and come here and rerun this. Let's see how this goes. And here we see that the task is now successful and the tool call worked. So the idea behind this simulation and evals workflow is that as you are building out these complex agentic workflows, in this case, this customer service agent, you are able to, one, simulate a variety of these multi-turn interactions. Two, test it on real-world scenarios. Three, figure out what's not working well. And once you fix those use cases, you have a fair amount of confidence to push it in production. This, however, is not a one-time exercise. We need to continuously iterate on our agents based on what we learn from agent behavior in production as users interact with it and optimize for use cases that are not working as expected. And now this is a good segue for us to see what happens once you push it in production and how do you monitor quality in production for these agents. So let's head over to logs and see how that works. To show you more on logging, let's first see the customer service agent that we have been using and just send a request on that customer service agent. Let's also give some feedback. Let's just give thumbs down because it did not answer my query in the best possible way. And that's it. Now I'm going to head over to Maxim logs. So there are 4 specific things I'd like to show you when it comes to Maxim's observability suite. One is this tracing. You can trace your agents to any level of granularity, including generations, tool call, retrieval, or any other API call, and easily debug whenever there is any error. 2, you're not just logging these traces and debugging whenever there is an error. You are looking at quality of your agent in production. So you can attach evaluators to any specific node of your agentic workflows. And these evaluators could be pre-built evaluators available on Maxim across multi-turn, single-turn. These could be any custom evaluator you are creating or even human annotations. So you are constantly monitoring quality of your agents in production based on a specific sampling criteria or filtering logic, basis whatever is required for your application. And you, of course, get an overview of how your agent is performing here. The third thing I wanted to show you is alerts. As you observe your agent quality in production, you can set real-time alerts on platforms such as Slack or PagerDuty based on any criteria. So here you can simply come and choose whether it's like simple log metrics like error, tokens, user feedback, or maybe evaluation scores on quality metrics you're running, and you decide how you want to be alerted. You can set as many alerts as you need for your agent, and this really helps you proactively find any errors in production, solve it collaboratively. And the fourth and the last thing is, how do you curate better data sets for evaluation or fine tuning or maybe purely in context learning from what you're seeing in production? So based on any filtering criteria, you can curate data sets from production logs. So here I have chosen user feedback as a criteria. However, your use case may vary. You might want to pick these use cases, send it to a human annotator through Maxim platform, collect feedback, use it for in-context learning. But the idea is, as you're observing your agents in production, you're constantly evolving your evaluation data sets from there. So those are the four things I wanted to quickly show you for logs. There are a lot more features, right from prompt engineering, AI gateway to CI/CD automations available on Maxim, and I'd love to show you more. Please feel free to reach out or check it out at getmaxim.ai. To recap, AI quality isn't a one-time process. It needs continuous evaluation and iteration. We can think of it in three distinct steps. First is the pre-release phase. Start with core user cases, run simulations to evaluate scenarios you care for, and measure agent behavior across different relevant metrics. Then, as you push it to production, observe real-world agent behavior, gather explicit user feedback and other quality signals by running evals in production on a sample of your production logs. Set the right alert so that you're always alerted whenever things are not going the way you expect them to. And then is this iteration phase which bridges the gap between pre-release and post-release. You constantly learning from production, creating better data sets, maybe for evaluation, for fine-tuning. You're using those examples and maybe using human annotations, feeding those to your prompts for in-context learning or fine-tuning better models to optimize responses. The key goal is that your AI agents must learn constantly. This is the only way to ensure they stay relevant, effective, and trusted. You can try all of this for yourself by visiting getmaxim.ai or by scanning this QR code over here. We also have a special offer for all the conference attendees. In addition to the 14-day free trial, you can use this code ECOM2025 to get another month free on Maxim. I'm very excited.
VG, big thanks for sharing this important topic of agent quality assurance with us.